Hey, do you know someone that's a bully? Hey, this is the bully-free zone.
Boy, did that escalate quickly. But it happened sooner than I thought it would. If you haven't seen, it's been going around all the talk shows. It was on Undisputed. A lot of people calling Dan Lanning a bully for beating Colorado, 42-6, which is the weakest opinion or take you could ever have. Like, if you're a Deion fan, you should be like sorting this out amongst yourselves of like, stop saying Dan Lanning's a bully. Like, I'm a Georgia Tech fan. Let's say Clemson beat us 42-6 and went for it every fourth down in the second half. The last thing you would hear me say is that Dabo Swinney's a bully, because it makes you look soft. It makes you look like a snowflake. Okay? So let me back up. I was a critic of Deion before the season started. It's one of the predictions I made that have not aged well. I said he'd get blown out by basically in every game they've played up to this point, other than Colorado State. There was some buzz, no pun intended, about him coming to Georgia Tech. I said I didn't have a problem with Georgia Tech not hiring him. I didn't think he was going to work out. All credit has to be given here. Credit where credit's due. Most people did not think Colorado would be 3-1 right now. Okay? I think what Deion's doing at Colorado right now is great. Shedeur Sanders is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He looks very good. I hate that Travis Hunter's hurt, was a dirty hit, yada, yada, yada. Okay? All credit to Deion for what he's done up to this point. But Deion's talked a lot of trash. Colorado's players have talked a lot of trash. But when it comes back around, when you get your ass beat, then all of a sudden it's trash talk for thee, not to me. And you kind of expose yourself as just being an absolute wuss softy. A lot of people carrying water for Deion. Richard Sherman's on Undisputed. He says that Dan Lanning is just jealous of all the attention that Deion is getting. And even I guess there is a video of Dan Lanning. What did he say? They're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. There's a difference. This game isn't going to be played in Hollywood. It's going to be played on the grass. What is there to be upset about with that statement? That is what Deion's doing. Deion is not just coaching football. And there's a whole separate conversation to be had as far as whether that's the right way to go or not. Deion is building his social media presence, his personality, this kind of larger-than-life personality, as much as he's trying to build a football team. I even saw Uncle Lou on Twitter had posted, I guess Deion is filing for trademarks now every week. He's trying to trademark even the phrase, "we're keeping receipts." So yeah, speaking of receipts, there are receipts literally that the guy is focused on things other than football and building his social media presence, building his business in conjunction with being a football coach. How in the world could you have a problem with what Dan Lanning said? He was right. Even Keyshawn Johnson talking about, Dan Lanning was given a much better situation. Now that they took their first ass beating, now all the Coach Prime fans, the Colorado fans, and they're two separate people. Most people that are rooting for Colorado didn't even know who Colorado was until Deion Sanders got there. They thought they were going to go in here and beat Oregon. They probably are going to think they're going to go upset USC too, even though it's going to be a similar result. And what's wrong with that? Yeah, Oregon is a superior team. Like this saying, "Oh, Dan Lanning's a bully. Oh, he went for it on 4th down one time." I think he only scored 7 points in the second half. What do you want him to do? So now, I mean, this is how snowflake a lot of Deion Sanders fans are. If you're starting to beat the crap out of them, let them come back. It's like when, you're playing sport with your kid, they're like 3, and you got to let them win. That's how they're looking at Deion all of a sudden now that he's taken a loss. Keyshawn Johnson saying that Dan Lanning was handed a much better situation. He wasn't handed it. And F Keyshawn Johnson for making me say anything positive about the University of Georgia. Don't you think Dan Lanning earned the opportunity to be the head coach of the Oregon Ducks with how dominant Georgia's defenses have been under him? Don't you think his 14, 15 years of coaching experience have something to do? He wasn't given anything. He earned the opportunity to be a Power 5 head coach. Keep that in mind. How much coaching experience does Deion Sanders have? 3? Something like this? And I'm talking about college coaching experience. I know he created basically a fake school in Texas where he names himself the offensive coordinator of for his son, Shedeur. Comes out that was a total sham, by the way. What was it? Holy Trinity something school. But yeah, the only coaching experience he has is like 3 years. Okay? So spare me with Dan Lanning was gifted anything or given anything. If anything, Deion Sanders didn't earn the opportunity to be a Division I head coach. If we're going that. Now, I don't agree with that, but if you're going to say that Dan Lanning didn't earn the opportunity, Deion certainly didn't earn it. Deion was hired by a desperate school in Colorado that didn't even have the money to pay him. I don't know if they do yet or not. Didn't even have the money to pay the guy. Now, it looks like it's going to work out. I mean, there's a ton of – all eyes are on Colorado. Probably a really smart decision by Colorado. We'll see how long, Deion stays there or whatever. But I was ready to come out and say, you know what? Praise to Deion, doing a fantastic job at Colorado. But then, they take a loss, and I see people doing this, taking the snowflake way out of saying that if anyone beats Deion by any margin, then that coach is a bully. The heck with all you guys, man. That's the most potato football take I've ever heard. So, by the way, speaking of bully, Shedeur Sanders and Colorado players are going up to Oregon saying they're going to beat their asses. They're going to beat their coaches' asses, Deion gets to talk all this trash about everybody, but Dan Lanning says, "Hey, we're not playing for clicks." Oh my God, can you believe you said that about Deion's team? Golly, man, what's wrong with you guys? I don't think Dan Lanning is jealous, but I don't get this. You can't just say, yeah, man, Deion's done a great job. Anything other than just praise and adoration, I guess, toward the guy is now unacceptable, and you're being a bully. Like, Deion's a big boy, right? He engages in this trash talk. That's part of his brand. He can defend himself. And he had, I think I even said it, he had a way better take. You better catch us now. This is the worst we're going to be. That's a way better response than saying Dan Lanning's a bully, man. Y'all need to toughen up a little bit. This is college football. Accept that Deion has done a really good job, and he's probably going to get his brains beat out again against USC. And that's nothing against Deion. Like, getting beat by 2 vastly superior teams. Oh, the other thing Richard Sherman said is he's like, hey, man, Deion's just like 7-8 players away. He's just like 7 or 8 players away, pretty much his whole offensive line he needs, and an entire defense. He's just this far away. And I see a lot of people saying, like, oh, well, he's killing the recruiting game. Let's go look at their 2024 class. What's this? Ranked 75th in recruiting for 2024? He's really killing that recruiting game, guys. Let me just say this. I think you have to give Deion credit for what he's been able to do. The attention he's put on a Colorado team they've never had. Even 1990. Like, they have not had this kind of publicity, media attention. No one outside of just blind faith followers of Deion thought they'd be here. He should be commended. Shedeur Sanders is great. Just a little advice, though. If you get beat, don't say you got bullied. If Georgia Tech beat someone and their fans were saying we bullied them, I'd be like, hell yeah, we bullied you. You suck. Learn how to take a loss a little bit better. Y'all have a good one. Talk to you later.